So you, Senator, are out holding town halls with voters, not only in Arizona. Interestingly, you held one in Warren, Michigan, Friday night. A new poll from the Wall Street Journal shows that your party, the Democrats, are at your lowest approval rating in 35 years. 63% of those voters, say they held an unfavorable view of the Democratic Party. So what are you hearing from voters, and why do you think your party is struggling so much?
Well, first of all, Jake, thank you for having me on, and we have to fix this. I don't put a ton of stock into, polls, especially this far away from an election, but we certainly do have a problem, and it's a messaging problem. And it's important to get out there and talk to people about the issues that they care about. So I was outside of Detroit there in Warren talking to folks who don't get to hear from their member of Congress, a guy named John James. He doesn't explain to them what happened in this big bill that the president and House and Senate Republicans passed. And it's really a bad deal for the American people. So myself and my wife, Gabby, sat there in front of a large group and took some questions from them and tried to explain to them, what's going to happen to Medicaid, what's going to happen to food assistance through SNAP. And there were folks here that I got the sense that these programs directly are going to affect them and their family members. And they do deserve an explanation from somebody in the United States Congress. And if their representative isn't going to do it, I'm going to go there. And hopefully in time, the American people will understand that we are out there fighting for them.
So you talk about how the Democratic Party has a communications problem. Your party, the Democratic Party, posted on Twitter or X in the last few days a chart that showed the price of groceries skyrocketing. The White House took that Democratic chart and accurately reposted it to show that most of the price jumps in that graph happened under the Biden administration. The Democrats then deleted the post. So I wonder if you think Democrats have figured out their problems, both in terms of communications and also acknowledging that Biden-era inflation, for example, is one of the reasons why your party is out of power.
Yeah, I think that's fair. There was inflation during the Biden administration. I track this pretty closely. I know what, ground beef and eggs and milk costs at the Safeway, where Gabby and I shop in Tucson, Arizona. They went up during the Biden administration. They went up some more. You're going to see prices go up and down. But I think what's important for the American people to know is that Donald Trump's tariff policy is very likely to increase costs. Going to take some time because of supply chains, stuff coming from, in some cases from all over the planet. And his trade policy, for my constituents in Arizona, there are a lot of products that come across the southern border, agricultural products that create thousands and thousands of jobs, not only in Arizona, but in the state of Texas. And we are facing right now some significant job loss. So when you think inflation's a problem for a family, somebody losing a job is even a bigger problem. And we're trying to figure out how we navigate that with this administration. I've spoken to the Secretary of Commerce about some of these tariffs, and we haven't gotten the response that we need.